just with the whole COVID situation going, it gives a lot of time for self-reflection, and naturally, my brain goes a million miles an hour, and yeah, I do kind of think quite a bit. But I kind of thought, during this time, I think a lot of people will end up with some sort of trauma, and will all pretty much be experiencing some level of what I feel like. I have been very candid about, the fact that I have schizophrenia, and the fact that I have also complex post-traumatic stress disorder from neglect and just over controlling parents, and other life instances such as bullying. So I'm just going to discuss some of the things that you can notice that uh, you have when you've completely recovered from trauma, which I haven't. So the first thing is the need to seek validation. Like, you may go out of your way to seek validation, and that will actually cause you the inability to say no to some people. Like, say somebody's trying to sell you, I don't know, something that you don't want, like some sort of soap. You almost feel as though, oh, I gotta make this guy like me. So you kind of want everybody to like you, and that of course is not possible, and we all know that's not possible. But I did obviously make several videos about the Good Life Fitness thing, and that's the only reason why I agreed to contract. I want to file my case that I definitely am vulnerable, one of the vulnerable people, and my trainer didn't know that. So, but that's for a different video. All the same. Okay, the next one is, like, you just don't want change. You fear any kind of positive change, whether like any kind of change really, but mostly positive change. You just feel like I'm unworthy. I think, I'll just stick the way things are, even though things are terrible the way they are. I'm not happy, but I'm gonna stick this way because I just don't see anything getting better, even though even if there's evidence that things would get better. Next one, I would say you fear failure. So naturally, you will feel failure because you know that when you fail, you will actually sort of internalize the pain. Just be like, oh, this is just another thing I failed at. I'm good at nothing, and you'll go down the slippery slope. And likewise, you also fear success because you always feel unworthy. Like, you think, for one thing, success always brings out change, and you also feel very unworthy. So you're very difficult to accept praise. Like, accepting compliments is very difficult. Yeah, all that jazz. The other thing is, you tend to actually be a bit of a micromanager. Like, you plan your day sometimes. Like, you might overplan things. Like, sometimes it's not even possible to even accomplish all the things that you planned, but you plan everything. Like, even, like, say, while I was working, I'd kind of need to micromanage every single thing I did. I'm like, okay, so make sure I do this. Make sure I communicate with this person that they need to do this. Yeah. So it is the case that you become a micromanager or overplanner, and then you feel just as terrible when things don't get done. So another thing that you'll notice is unexpected behaviors. Like, sometimes it's just kind of awkward. Like, for example, you may be super disorganized. Like, naturally, I'm a disorganized person with my schizophrenia and my thoughts. So, but I mean, you get even more disorganized. Like, you may even neglect hygiene, or like, yeah, just like you do, and you neglect hygiene for one thing, and other things such as, like, say, just misplacing anything you have. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I put my phone and I don't even know where I've kept it. So I just like say just leaving it where it is. The other thing is you get more anhedonia. Naturally, with schizophrenia, you suffer anhedonia, but with trauma, you have even more anhedonia. So anhedonia is the inability to feel pleasure. So nothing really makes you feel happy. Like, it's just a feeling, though. I mean, like, obviously, you can fight it, and I try to fight it. Like, even with this COVID situation, I know a lot of people on lockdown, but I try to get outside and walk at least, once a day. So next point is, like, you actually don't want to seek help. Like, you actually struggle to ask for help. And I noticed this. I'm definitely holding back with my therapist appointments, which are on the phone. I'm definitely not telling her everything, and I think I need to really try and tell her everything. And same with my psychiatrist. Just tell them, like, this is what I'm going through. Like, like, I definitely need more a little bit more intensive therapy. But I mean, of course, with the government cutting so many projects and cutting healthcare, it's not possible to actually get therapy without paying for it. And yeah, like, don't get me started with government, because that's just for a different video if I would plan to make one. Sorry, where I began. So this one, I don't personally suffer from it too much, but I sometimes, like, I on and off suffer from it. But poor concentration. A lot of people with trauma suffer poor concentration. Like, it doesn't matter what they're doing. Like, they could be even reading like a fantasy book like Lord of the Rings, which is a brilliant book, and all of a sudden have a lot of difficulty concentrating. So yeah, it comes in spades. It's like just something that it can be misdiagnosed as ADHD. It can be misdiagnosed as like anything really. But it's just really trauma that causes it. One thing that I definitely suffer from, and many people with trauma do suffer from, is excessive guilt. Like, you remember past your childhood and start feeling guilty about things that you shouldn't really feel guilty about, but it's definitely something that may come up with everybody who will have trauma in this COVID situation, and even if they've lost a loved one or worry about a loved one because of they may be a first responder and may come in contact with COVID. Like, they'll feel any kind of guilt if anything happens, and these are just things to watch out for. And I'm sorry if I sound a little rambling and a little bit disjointed, but thank you all for watching.